Game 1 began pretty well, but then I got the floors lava and grounded, so I couldn't jump, and I pretty much had to keep moving. It was extremely hard. I couldn't stop moving, I couldn't jump. I don't know why I decided to climb up here. That was just instant damage. And then eventually it cornered me. I got stuck in an area where I had to jump, but I couldn't jump because I was grounded. So I lost. That's it. The next game, it went pretty well. I didn't have to do anything for probably half of the game until all of a sudden a zombie apocalypse happened and I got trapped. The zombies began coming at me from every direction. They knocked me off. So now I was stuck in the acid rain, which was also going on, and there was just no way I was going to survive this. The blocks were eventually go from above me, and eventually I just died. So, yeah. Game 3. Game 3 was another game where where the disasters weren't really an issue for the first half of the game. In fact, I made it all the way till 1 minute left. But then a tornado happened, and I was grounded, so I couldn't jump. So now, I was in a building that was partially collapsed. The acid rain was hitting me. It was not good. And then I got stuck with another tornado that came up. There was just no way I was going to survive this. So, yeah, I died. Game 4. Game 4 was not good. I mean, I made it over halfway through, but then the disasters started to add up. The zombie apocalypse and the withers got me to really low health, and then I just jumped off. Like, I don't even know why I did that, but yep, that was the end of that game. Game number 5 also went pretty well until the halfway mark. I got a whole bunch of... I mean, look at how many disasters are on here right now. I can't believe I survived all this. But then a combination of a whole bunch of disasters got me. Lightning struck. That sent me to the bottom floor right as the flood came. And I just wasn't able to make it in time before the flood got me. Wow. Game 6. Game 6 was actually another really interesting game. Halfway through, we had a zombie apocalypse and a meteor shower, so we had to go inside. And by the way, I don't know why someone had the hiccups in the chat, and they were really trying to ask. But yeah, anyway, it did not go well. I took loads of damage from falling and then fell into the sinkhole. It was bad. Game number 7, again, I got grounded, which wasn't good. I also got a tornado, and I could even see the tornado in the distance. Yeah, I did end up making it though, until zombie apocalypse and a sinkhole happened, and somehow a tornado pushed me right into the sinkhole. Like, I don't even know how that happened, and I only had 45 seconds left. I don't know how I even survived this, but I did. Also, someone made a chicken jockey reference in the chat, because this is when the Minecraft movie just came out. So, yeah. Anyway, that's how old this video is. Anyway, I just went to the corner of the map and survived. There, you can see the people almost made it to me, but I did make it. So I think this is our first win of the video here. Game 8, another slow one. The dragons didn't really do anything, so we made it about halfway through. Again, voice crack, sorry about that. Yeah, anyway, we made it actually all the way almost to the end. The dragons really didn't do anything. The lightning really didn't do anything. In fact, honestly, we just stayed in the center and it didn't do anything. I survived pretty easily. So we got back-to-back wins. As you can see, I barely even took any damage. So, yeah, it was probably the easiest game yet. Game 9. Game 9 was already off to a bad start. I mean, I don't know what I was doing. And I still honestly don't really know what happened. The blocks just kind of disappeared beneath me. But yeah, that was just kind of weird. Anyway, game 10, sinkhole and tornadoes. Again, it didn't really affect me until the end of the game when withers started happening as well. And there was just a whole bunch of people in this building, and the withers spawned on top of them. We all had to run, and I just kind of got stuck into this one building right here. And unfortunately, a tornado came, and I don't know how I survived it. Look, I'm literally on the edge of a block, and if I would have fell off of this block, I would have died. But somehow I got stuck in the block. No one killed me, and no tornado thing. It was 3 hearts. I won. I don't know how that happened. That was crazy. But, yep, I did it. Game 11, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened to the screen. But, yeah, I also don't know what I was watching in the background. I really don't know what I was doing. I don't even know why I included this. But anyway, again, the disaster didn't really play a part at all. I just kind of ran around and survived. Like, there's literally 10 seconds. Like, I just did nothing. The building did start to catch on fire toward the end, but I still made it. Anyway, Game 12. Game 12, again, this is starting to become a pattern here. Over halfway through the game is when things actually start getting hard. Yeah, I did use a vending machine and it gave me a potion, but I don't even think I really needed it. Yeah, it wasn't really useful. But then lightning struck me, and, yeah, I seriously don't know how I survived this. Then, look at, withers and swappage happened. This is where it really got hard. But somehow, I overcame all of that and survived. Wow.
No, I'm not blind yet. Maybe next time.
Game 13. Game 13 was just kind of bad. Someone used the same strategy that I did in my Lucky Block Underdrop. They jumped into the void when swappage happened, so I died. Game 14. Game 14, well, we had the floor was lava. It was actually really hard because so many people made huge lava trails in the map. The map was literally catching on fire. It was really hard to avoid. And unfortunately, at one point, I literally fell in the lava and nearly died. But thankfully, I didn't. And actually, the rest of the game wasn't too easy. I just sat in the same spot and won. So yeah, I took literally no damage after that. So I won. It was pretty easy for the rest of that. Game 15. Again, it was pretty good until the middle of the game. I think I'm going to stop talking about the beginning. But, yeah, acid rain had me inside, and I forgot that it was a purge. So, yeah, I was already low from doing some other stuff, so, yeah, there was no way I was going to win that fight. Game 16. Again, acid rain, so I stayed inside. Eventually, lightning started happening, and that is what would end up killing me, because lightning literally took the roof off of me. Like, how did that even happen? Or off the building, and that caused the acid rain to kill me. That was just really unlucky. Anyway, game 17, the zombie apocalypse got me low, and I fell in lava. Yeah, it wasn't that good. Game 18, some people were saying some weird stuff in the chat. I'm gonna have to blur that out. Anyway, I literally saw the sinkhole. It was actually pretty cool being together, knowing that I wasn't in danger, at least until the dragons happened. Then I had to lock in, except that I didn't have to. I just stayed in the same place and won again. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. Zombies were pestering me the entire game in game 19. I mean, I very nearly died. The zombies just kept sneaking up on me and everything. Seriously, if I only would have had a few more seconds, I probably would have not won this game, but I did. Just barely, but I did. Kind of insane. Game 20. Game 20, I just fell. It was just bad. It was entirely my fault. I could have avoided that. Game 21, well, I took this little bit of damage here, but besides that, I literally took no damage in this entire game until the very end. Like, it was just, the disaster just didn't really affect me. Again, another one of those games. Again, same thing with game 22, I actually got back-to-back wins. Again, it was pretty easy in that game. Game 23, it was unlucky. I got red light, green light right as a tornado happened, and I can't believe I didn't die, but it did make my game lag insanely hard, which made me fall through a hole. So, yep. Game 24, well, the whole map, you can see the whole map got destroyed, and I just ended up jumping into lava again. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, game 25, my internet lagged, and that caused a zombie to knock me into the flood. Like, my internet lagging was, like, really annoying. Game 26 is another one that wasn't my fault. My game crashed, nearly crashed. I'm trying to load a texture pack, and when I came back, I was already dead. So, yeah. Game 27. Game 27, well, it was another really hard one. It came down to the very end, only like 15 seconds, and I was nearly dead. But I barely won just staying underneath the building that was collapsing above me. Game 28. Well, game 28, I just died. A wizard got rid of the blocks below me, so I lost. Game 29! Game 29, but I just jumped and died. I just jumped under the floor. Same thing with game 30. These are all super dumb deaths. I just jumped in the lava this time. Game 31. So for the next 10 games, I recorded my computer mic, and honestly, it's really bad. That audio is really bad. I'm going to show you just this game.
Okay, that wasn't good.
Yeah, you can see the audio is just really bad. It's not good, so I'm just gonna be commentating over for the rest of these games. Anyway, game 32, I very nearly died. The zombie apocalypse and dragons very nearly killed me. Any more time and I would have died, but I thankfully made it. So, yep, I did it. Game 33, well, it was just dumb. The werewolf was right there, and there was no way I was gonna survive it. It was just dumb. Game 34, I just died to fire. Like, the whole building caught on fire somehow. Most likely because of lightning or something, but yeah, it was just crazy. Game 35, it was a quick one. I just died. 2 people ganged up on me, on the purge. There was no way I was gonna survive this, and my snowballs did nothing. So, yep, that's it for that. Game 36, the zombie apocalypse got me low from the beginning, but I just stood on the side of the building because for some reason the zombies can't get you there. And I survived for a while. At one point, over 6 disasters were on my screen. But I somehow survived it until the flood. The flood came up insanely fast. Like, there was no way I was going to survive that. In fact, literally no one won that game. Anyway, game 37, it was just really dumb. I just fell into the flood. That was just completely avoidable. That was just bad. Game 38, I actually went pretty far just walking around with the blackout. It was pretty easy until it was just a 1v1 when unfortunately lightning just took me out. I just got struck by lightning at the wrong time. It was just unfortunate. I probably shouldn't have been at the top of the map anyway, though, with that low health. Anyway, game 39, there was tons of disasters, and a combination of red light, green light, the tornado, and blackout nearly killed me, but thankfully I did survive inside of a building. And also I had blackout, but I had milk. I could have easily got rid of the blackout using milk, but I didn't. It was just stupid. Anyway, game 40 is another one. I just kind of stood in a building and won. Like, it was really easy. I didn't even have to do much of anything. The werewolf didn't even do anything either. So yeah, we're already on game 40. Let's continue here. So, game 41. Game 41, I survived a decent amount of the game. You can see I also added shaders, and, well, these shaders would cause a lot of problems in this and the next game. Yeah, you can see, also, there was some sort of weird glitch with OBS, my recording software, so you can see it was not this laggy, although it was still pretty laggy. Anyway, the werewolf ended up sneaking up on me, and I died. Game 42, again, you can see, look at it, it's like a slideshow. It wasn't actually like that when I was playing. But anyway, it was absolute chaos. A giant spawned on top of me and exploded me into the void. And you couldn't see any of it because the recording was messed up. After that, I just took off the shaders, and you can see it fixed my recording instantly. But you know what? It didn't fix my internet. My internet caused me to die both game 43 and 44. Like, it was just super annoying. Anyway, game 45, it was actually pretty hard because lightning destroyed the buildings we were in, and the acid rain finished us off. But we did make it barely before the roof got destroyed. Game 46, I had a very close call with the werewolf, and then all of a sudden the werewolf teleported. Look, he went from 86 blocks to 8 blocks and killed me shortly after. I seriously do not know why that happened. I don't know how he did that. Anyway, game 47, you saw, that was probably the most dumbest death of the 100 drops. I just jumped right into the sinkhole. Yeah, next game, I got the hot potato and completely fumbled it. Why am I running into the acid rain to do this? What was I doing? It was completely just useless. I died to both the acid rain and hot potato at the same time. Bad, very bad. Game 49, I survived all the way to the end, but the purge got us. Now, this was interesting. We couldn't kill enough people for the purge, and so none of us won. Like, this is the first time, and probably might be the only time this ever happened in this 100 drops. So, pretty interesting way to lose. Game 50, you can see some really unlucky circumstances. caused me to be at literally half a heart. Literally half a heart. And so I knew I wasn't going to win without taking any damage. Though I did end up lasting surprisingly long. You can see. But yeah, I didn't end up making it. You can see I eventually ended up taking damage from a dragon. Game 51 was a crazy one. The werewolf actually was right above me, but he barely missed me. So I just stayed in a building and until the very end. And ironically, I almost did a damageless run here too. But unfortunately, I did end up taking damage at like 5 seconds away. And I actually almost died to this dragon hit, you can see. But I did end up winning it. It was definitely a good game. One of the best ones so far. Game 52 to 55, unfortunately, I didn't record it. But I only won game 55, so it didn't really miss anything. Game 56, though, was actually pretty much a clone of game 55. Except for the win. Yeah, I did not end up winning at all. Game 57, the zombie apocalypse got me low, but I somehow managed to survive, and I even managed to go through the blackout fine. Now, unfortunately, then dragons hit, and as soon as I thought, I'm gonna get hit by a dragon here, I did. So, yep. Game 58, my internet died, you can see, it was just bad. Game 59, though, it was actually insane. I was writing notes and nearly died to a lightning strike, and it transformed into chaos, running from the withers and tornadoes at 2 hearts. I got a very lucky teleport and managed to win barely under a building. If I would have got hit by the acid rain at all, I probably would have died. But I did it. I won. That was a really good game. Game 60, I was getting a shot for the thumbnail when somehow I died. I don't even know how it happened. Apparently I moved while it was a red light, but I didn't see that at all. Also my UI glitched, which was weird. Game 61, I was just AFK. It was just bad. Game 62, my recorder was lagging a lot, so I changed my render distance and nearly died to a tornado. And I made it almost to the end, but another tornado got me. So, yep. Game 63, I reloaded my texture packs accidentally, and it took a very long time to nearly crash my game. But I somehow didn't die or even take any damage. So I just sat. I got a late game third later on. And so I just sat in the corner. And I'm not even kidding. I almost won this game without taking any damage. Unfortunately, right at the end, some acid rain got me. But literally, this is probably the closest I've ever gotten to winning without even taking any damage right here. It was really crazy. Game 64, I literally just have in my notes bad. Like the word bad. That's all I wrote in my notes for this game. So let's see how bad it really was. And you can see it's not good at all. I have meteor shower, blackout, half health. I just fell off the edge of the map. It really was bad. Game 65, I died to the zombie apocalypse right after spawning in. It was probably one of the quickest deaths of this entire 100 drops. So, not good. Game 66, I got danger from above and below with the flood and the anvil rain. The withers made it even worse. So I got stuck at 1.5 hearts, but unfortunately a wither snuck up on me, so unfortunately no one won that. Game 67 and 68, my internet was just insanely laggy. You can see both times I died in super dumb ways because of the internet. So game 69, you can see I literally have my internet Wi-Fi thing on here, and I have to blur it out for obvious reasons, but you can see I literally have my Wi-Fi on here to monitor it and see when it drops out. Anyway, it was really dumb. I took shelter in the acid rain right as the purge happened, and so they started hitting me, and they hit me right as it turned into the red light, and that all caused my death. I mean, it was just really unlucky. You can see it right here. Game 70. Game 70, literally all the disasters went against me. I went into a pool to avoid the floor was lava, but 2 people ganged up on me because it was the purge, and I very nearly died, so I had to pearl away, but my pearl went into the sinkhole, so I had to just run, and I almost fell into it myself. But yep, that didn't really work at all, so I just had to run away, and eventually zombie apocalypse spawned, and that just finished me off. Game 71, I was AFK for half of the game writing notes, but still didn't die somehow. I went into a building after I realized this, and I just won. It was very easy, probably one of the easiest games of this 100 drops right here. Game 72, I was getting another shot for the thumbnail, but I got hit by a meteor. So, unfortunately, I had a boat, but I couldn't clutch it in time, so... Game 73. It was really hard. The disasters kept me on my toes. Eventually, a tornado came and flung me insanely high into the air, and, well, it killed me. Game 74. Game 74, I actually got the werewolf for the first time, and probably only time in this 100 drops. So I killed someone, and I think the zombie apocalypse was making it really laggy. So it was kind of hard for me to get any other kills. But eventually, oh yeah, also some people were saying some weird stuff in the chat. But yeah, eventually another player was smart and sent me into the void, and it was laggy, so I couldn't do anything. Game 75, I stayed in the pool to avoid the lava, and I got another thumbnail, but again got destroyed by withers. Literally every time I try to take a thumbnail, I end up dying somehow. Like, it's really weird. Game 76 was just stupid. I literally ran right into the werewolf, literally bad. Game 77, I literally just moved right when it was a red light. I mean, it was entirely my fault. The red light tick showed up and I just kept going. I don't know why I did that. Next game, it was withers absolutely non-stop. Eventually, I got grounded and that just sealed my fate. Game 79. Well, I probably got the worst combination of disasters in the game. I mean, blindness, withers, werewolf, zombie apocalypse, anvil, rain, all that stuff. So there's no way I was going to survive that. Game 80. For some reason, my game was super laggy and CapCut kept appearing with my editing software for some reason. And went AFK right as my Wi-Fi died, and that caused me to as well. Game 81. I tried to hide in the building, and I was really trying my best to win since I hadn't won in a really long while. And at one point, I very nearly died to withers. You can see I was literally at like 2 hearts, but I barely survived. So the next game, Game 82, I got swapped in a tower with a few people, and we stayed just to outrun the flood. It was all good until lightning and a red light, green light happened, and it completely destroyed the tower. Still, I very nearly won, but a tornado, unfortunately, just happened to get me out at the wrong time. Game 83, for some reason, just ends, like, in the middle of the game. Halfway through the game, it just ends. I don't know what happened. And Game 84 is just corrupted for some reason. I really don't know why. I don't know what happened. I might have ran out of space or something, but let's move on. Game 85, I was trying not to take damage for the whole game. For the remainder of these games, I try to do that since I haven't actually done that yet. And I made it decently far, but the disasters overpowered me and I ended up taking damage. I still almost won though, but a tornado just happened to come by and it killed me with 2 seconds to spare. So that was sad. Game 86, I found 2 instant health potions right next to each other. This has to be insanely rare. But then I had to use them instantly and still died because the werewolf was just right there waiting for me. There was nothing I could do. Game 87, I made it to 1 minute again with no damage, but there was just too many disasters, so I ended up taking damage there. Then somehow I ended up swapping with a player who had just gotten thrown off the map by a dragon. Like, it was insanely unlucky, and that ended up killing me. There was nothing I could do with this one either. Game 88, I was doing okay until a player led a wither right to me. Literally, he just came right to me, and that ended up making me take damage. And later on, I died while trying to write notes. Game 89, I was doing well again. I made it halfway through, but somehow I confused the new disaster sound with the green light sound, and that caused me to take damage. And then I ended up running to new shelter, but it's just too slow, and I got caught in the red light. Game 90. I again tried to change my resource pack and nearly crashed my game. My whole computer froze and my recorder almost crashed. But I somehow survived. And I sadly got caught up. And I got put in a place that I couldn't jump out of because it was grounded. Game 91, the zombie apocalypse and lag destroyed me. The next game, I ran right into lava and that caused the wizards to destroy me. Game 93, I actually ended up winning, but I don't know where the footage went for it, though, and at this point, I'm too late to find it, so, oh well. Game 94, my internet just completely died on me, so I just quit. It was just over. Game 95, I went into the water until swappage happened. I made it pretty far. Unfortunately, I got chased by withers and just died. It was bad. Game 96, I survived the apocalypse until the withers got me again and I ran into a dead end. Game 97, I hid in a building and actually made it all the way to 10 seconds, but the tornado and withers got me again. Game 98, I just ran right into a giant. I don't even know what I was doing. Now, game 99, this is it. I know I kind of went through this game pretty fast, but that's because game 99 was absolutely insane. So, you see, I've been trying to get damageless this entire time, and at this point, I was just giving up, but I tried one last time, and this time, everything worked. The no tornadoes got me. No one tried to attack me because of the purge. No meteors hit me. No, the roof didn't collapse and cause the acid rain to get me. Nothing happened. Unbelievable. And we won just barely because someone sacrificed themselves at the very end of the game. Unbelievable. One of the best game of the entire 100 drops right here. But now, that's it. Let's get to some live commentary for the final game. I know the audio is really bad right now because I'm recording this through my computer microphone. This is the only way I'm able to get live commentary. Oh gosh. But yeah, I'm so happy with how this has turned out, honestly. I'm so happy with game 99. Game 99! I clutched it out. Commentary, but wow. Now, I don't think I'm going to win this game. Yeah, I'm sorry. The audio is just really bad. What's going on here? Wait, we're going to win. We're going to win game 100. Uh-oh. No, not like this. No! Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And my internet just crashed. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. That's going to be it. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Goodbye.